We're live. Yes, we are. It says right there, you are
Woohoo!
live. This might look better. This might even sound better. Who
Let's
knows?
hope so.
Let's hope so indeed. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, one and all. Welcome to the first episode of us talking about things that are happening and have happened on this channel, The Real Review UK, The Real Riding, with me, Ben, and with someone who looks like she hasn't slept for 72 hours, Natalie.
I have slept, and it's a family friendly show, so I'm going to make sure my language is all good. But I did have a few drinks watching the boxing on Saturday night, so maybe my recovery time has taken me a while. I'm
Well,
afraid.
I will say this, and just in your defence, this young lady is very small. She's very little.
Yes.
So I imagine 1 pint holding up against her, it looks like she's holding like a 4 pint stein.
Yeah.
It,
But
it's
there,
it's
there may have been about four ciders and maybe half a bottle of vodka or something like that throughout the
oh
evening. So
dear, that's not very family friendly. No,
no,
it's not.
but today I've had a sleep in the afternoon already to entertain you this evening. So I'm all good. I promise. No strokes or anything that anyone else was suggesting.
Well, fair enough. Fair enough. I can see the chat, and it seems to be just beats and tapes in the chat. I wonder if others will appear. Um, who did you want to win the boxing? Just ask quickly before we go in. That's been asked of you.
I was wanting Zhang to win. He did win very, very well. He beat Wilder, but the whole card was very interesting. In terms of the boxing, it's now been taken over by the Saudis, and heavyweight boxing it got very boring over the years. And whilst the crowds are rubbish in Saudi and the atmosphere, the sport itself is really interesting again.
And the
It's
money's there.
entertaining. Now, yeah, it is the money. Follow the money, but the fights are happening again now, Ben. The fights that people actually want to see that hasn't been happening for a long
Well, you
time.
say that. Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson is
Have
postponed.
it is
It is
it is
postponed,
that
and it'll probably never happen. Let's
it
face
probably
it.
was never going to happen. I did
But
read that Carl Froch might be taking his place instead of Mike Tyson. So we shall see. We'll keep you updated on that one.
yeah, we will. But let's talk about this channel, the things that have gone on. And before we had technical difficulties, because this is the second iteration of this show, we were talking about Butlins, and I was talking
Yep.
specifically about, okay, so when you go to Butlins, and we've done it so many times because the kids love it, right? You can call us, people take the mick out of a Butlins holiday, but I
I
think
love buttons.
I love it. I've always thought it's great fun. It is great fun for the kids, especially my son. He's 10 years old, but like us, he's autistic, right? And he knows what he loves, and he still loves, cuddling Billy Bear and stuff like that. He loves doing all that stuff. But it's just absolutely becoming something that's almost untenable. Now, to stay in there, I believe it's 4-star Ocean Hotel at Butlins Bognor Regis for the week. The hotel room for 4 nights for 4 people was under 100 quid. Right?
Wow.
That's not per night. That was for the week. So they do that to get you in the door. They give you, especially in term time, because in half term summer holidays, forget it. The same room is over $1,000. But they do that to get you in the door, and they offer you these sorts of things. All of these activities, all of these shows, everything is included. Which, yes, the shows and stuff are, but they seem to be less of them now than there was even last year. And then all of these activities like the swimming, which people go for Butlins, they're famous for their little water parks. They've cut the hours of operation on them.
Yeah.
So it's like they're enticing you in, and then if you want to fill that extra time, they're saying to you, well, you can pay for this, you can pay for this, or you can pump money into our arcade machines, which, granted, everybody does. I mean, I got my new little purse out of a 2p pusher thanks to my wonderful wife. She won it in a 2p pusher, and I really like it. But the point of the matter is, it used to be that Butlins was an all-inclusive, and Butlins was created by Sir Billy Butlin as an
Yeah.
all-inclusive resort where working class people who could not afford to go away on a foreign holiday could come and have a week of,
Yeah.
granted, it was originally quite regimented, fun, and you pay one price to have it all. Now, to put it into comparison, the room was under £100. The food was over 3 times the amount the room cost.
Yeah. But I was
But
going to say, what is nice, I mean, particularly for autistic kids and stuff, they do love a buffet.
yeah,
That there is something particularly for children that absolutely love being able to go up and choose their food and go up as many times as they want and have an exciting pudding. And as you said, in terms of it being a child friendly place, that really does appeal to families, doesn't it? And you can still see by your review on the breakfast that certainly was still the case there. But it does remind me a bit now of Centre Parks. They are
yeah.
kind of using the same model. So with Centre Parks, you always pay that little bit more in terms of like your chalet, and all you got free was the swimming, and everything on top you had to pay for with Centre Parks. Everything. So if you wanted to go horse riding, if you wanted to go climbing, if you wanted to do any activity, bowling, you have to pre-book it and you have to pay for it. And it seems that Butlins is slowly taking that same model now from Centre Parks, unfortunately.
I actually think Butlins are more, and this is going to sound weird, but I think they're modelling themselves on cruise ships because they're now selling, and this was a first for this year, and we didn't partake in it, right? But they're now selling an all-you-can-drink drinks package, and for the 5 days, it would have been £280. So that's £70 per person for the four of us to drink anything. And I'm talking alcohol, wines, beers, spirits, cocktails, soft drinks, milkshakes, fizzy drinks, all of it included, which is a good deal at
Yeah.
£70 a head if you're going to take advantage of it and you're going to use it. That's the sort of thing that they do on a cruise ship. And also, something else that I saw that was new for this year was you could pay extra, like £20, to pre-choose your room like you can on a cruise ship. You can pay a little bit extra and you can pick your cabin instead
Yeah.
of having one assigned. It just seems to me like they're modeling themselves on cruises, and
Right.
it just feels, as I said, it feels so scummy because it's built this reputation up as being the holiday vacation destination of the working class. And they're almost pricing us out because Butlins Bognor Regis, and I think it's only Bognor Regis that are doing this for the time being, they're building something called the Play Experience, which opens in September. And inside there are a bunch of activities like escape rooms, shuffleboard, glow golf, loads of things like
Yeah.
that. But in order to access these activities, you have to pre-purchase these things called play tokens. Now, play tokens are a digital currency. Okay, but let's not go down that road. Let's just explain how all this works. So if you want to buy one single play token, it's £8 for one. If you want to buy 20 plus in advance, on a term time holiday, that goes down to buying 20 at a time makes it £5 a token. So you're quote unquote saving money. Whereas if you go in a half term or a summer holiday, £6 a token
Of course.
buying 20 plus. Because of course, because they've already rinsed the £1,000 out of you for the accommodation. So why not take that little bit extra, right?
And
But
also remember they're at the moment they're going mad at schools again for taking you out of term time after lockdowns and strikes where it was perfectly normal not to have your children at school. They're now going absolutely mental about attendance and anybody taking their child out for a holiday. So
yeah.
you're going to be punished for doing so as well.
Oh, yeah. Unless, of course, you know your little loopholes around the system, which is something we might make a video on, helping parents on how to take their kids on term time holidays legally, getting around the
Legally,
system,
yeah.
because we know the loopholes and maybe you should know them too. Because let's face it, we are in a cost of living crisis, and if families want to take their kids on holiday, it is going to have to be at times when those holidays are affordable. And let's face it, that's not in half term.
Yeah.
We are not middle class people. We are on the working echelons and classes of society. Okay, we're not middle class people. We're not upper class people. Now, my best friend Lisa, she is middle class, and she's extremely middle class, and I love her, and she calls herself my middle class fairy godmother, and God love her, absolutely God love her. But these sorts of things, right? These play tokens are not only going to apply to what's going on inside that building. As of September, they apply to everything on the resort. So you have to have this digital play tokens in order to do anything. Go bowling, do it, book an activity, play token. Go bowling, play token. They are forcing people into spending a lot of money before they even arrive at the resort.
So when does this come into play, Ben? Because I'm back at Butlins in 2 weeks for an adult weekend. So this
I
will be a
believe
slightly different. Yeah.
September 22nd.
So I'll be before them. So I may be able to do a review, but I'll make sure I keep it family friendly. There won't be any children there. It's an 80s weekend.
I went to a 90s weekend once a long time ago, and Right Said Fred were playing.
Oh, so there you go.
Yeah?
I'm not sure who's playing, but they said they're very, very strict now at Butlins on people coming in, on taking their identity, on having stuff around wristbands type of thing. So you can't get into the shops, you can't get into the bars, you can't kind of hide somebody in your car in order to get in and get them free into the park that we've done previously in the park. I think they're quite tight with security.
You haven't done that. You haven't done that.
No, I haven't. Just maybe other people might have done it in the past.
Yeah, but I just think that they're trying to market themselves to a middle class audience, and they are forgetting their roots. And their roots are that they exist because the working class needed a holiday.
Yeah.
And they've moved away from that. I think it's really I think it's bad. I think it's scummy. It doesn't feel right to me.
And the other thing is, you've obviously had Pontins, which really was again working class. They've now kind of gone.
They're gone.
I mean, they really were quite standard, quite low. And then you've got Haven as well. That I mean, I used to go to as a child, and oh my goodness, their prices are even worse.
Of course they are.
Especially in August. They're not achievable for anybody at working class prices. And then obviously places like Centre Parks have gone up to full almost upper class prices. You can't even look at those. It's a real shame. There should be more places that the average working class person can afford, and especially for children, like we said.
Yeah, and moving on, because I got home, and I was home for maybe a day, and then off I drove to Gay Paris. Yeah, went off to Paris with my best friend Lisa, who also helps produce content for this channel. And we went to Disneyland Paris for our first ever stay at the Newport Bay Club Hotel. There's a couple of videos already on the channel. I'm going to put another one out because that long one might be too much for people to digest. So I'm going to cut it down into 3 separate videos and release it as 3 smaller videos as well, so people can watch whichever part of it they wish, because, yeah, it's quite long and it's quite difficult to digest. But we stayed there, and, I was upfront about it. It cost £1,100 for 3 nights.
Which is, for the average person, very, very expensive.
Oh, extremely expensive. Extremely expensive. And it cost £1,100 for 3 nights in a 4-star hotel. Now, I said in the video I would discuss why we had to move room at another time, and this is that time.
Yeah.
So we first got placed into a room, and Lisa, who is with me, she is epileptic. Okay?
Yeah.
So she is autistic, she is epileptic, and she is legally deaf. Right? She's great fun. But she wears hearing aids and stuff. But we're sitting in our room. We've just checked in. We've already waited 90 minutes past what we were supposed to for our room, and all of a sudden the room starts flashing like a bloody
oh no,
like a bloody strobe light. And what happened was, the room in which they had placed us was directly. You looked out the window, and there's a little gap, and there's another window. and it's where the characters have their pictures taken with guests. And they had a massive flash photography set up pointing straight at the window, okay,
Yeah.
that was just lighting up our room like a bloody disco.
Oh
And
no, you can't have that.
no, so we had to go and get the room changed, and also the air conditioning was bust, so it was like a sauna in there.
Yeah.
So we were moved room, and we were told, oh, you are getting the lakeside room. This is technically an upgrade because you'll get the view. What view? Go and watch the video.
Oh,
Our view is a tree.
It wasn't a very impressive view, I must say, Ben, and the sounds as well. I
Clank,
wasn't.
clank,
Yeah,
clank.
I wasn't impressed. I will say,
But
but yeah, I mean, it's a hard one with these places like Disneyland because you are going there for the experience. You know you're going to overpay the prices. I must say, it didn't look like what I would call a 4-star. Yes, it had little extras like you had the coffee machine and stuff, but yes, it was themed. But what you showing us around, I wasn't particularly impressed. I didn't think, wow, I really want to take my kids there. It still felt quite basic, I think, for a 4-star place.
yeah,
Was
no.
my overall experience of the video that you reviewed.
See, I said, I didn't say it in the video, and I think it was a line I should have said in the video, because it's a 3-star hotel disguised as a 4-star
Yeah,
hotel.
I think that would be quite accurate.
Though I do think that, like, I explained it in the video, and I'll explain it again here, because they were okay for me to go and film in the pool area. They said, yeah, you can go and film in the pool area, you can go and film in the indoor pool, the outside pool, whatever. I just didn't feel comfortable doing it because there were like so many families with kids around,
Yeah,
and it
I
just
would
felt.
agree. I've always had a bit of a problem with people filming in pool areas for obvious reasons. If you could do that when it was just you and your kids there, maybe, but
Yeah.
you can't guarantee that everybody's okay with you filming.
Well, no, exactly, and I just didn't want to, I didn't want people to think something untoward was going on or anything like that. So I just thought I'm not comfortable doing it. But what I will say is the indoor pool is very large. It's very big, and it's got a lot of water features. Things spraying out, and then every 5 minutes, a big eruption of water comes from within the pool itself and just throws the water up into the air. It's quite funny.
I guess maybe then in terms of price, the argument would be if you were taking your family to Euro Disneyland Paris for a week, say, or 10 days, and you were at that hotel and you were actually really using the pool facilities regularly, maybe the price then would be more worth it. But if you and Lisa didn't really use the pool
I mean,
facilities,
I did
you're
every day.
paying. Oh, you did use them.
So I went sat in a hot tub every day. At the end of the day, because
Yeah.
they were open till 10 p.m. The pool was open
Yeah.
till 10 p.m. And on the days, I mean, you've got a full park day. The park days were going 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. Okay, so
Yeah.
you could go in the park 9 a.m. to 11. So we were just jotting back to the hotel in the middle of the day and having a rest, because
Yeah.
you're not gonna spend. Well, a lot of people do spend 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. But a man on a mobility scooter that's taking a load of legal medication throughout the day. I can't always spend a full day. So I come back, we
Yeah.
have a rest, and I was going and putting myself in the hot tub for half an hour every day, and it just helped me, and it helped me get back on it for the evening.
Yeah.
But I okay, so there's a question in the chat here for those not watching live, and it's from your son actually.
Yeah.
And it says, what are 2-star hotels like? Well, Disney has one of them. They used to have 2, but now they've got 1. So the Santa Fe Hotel is 2-star. The Cheyenne used to be 2-star, but earned its 3rd star a couple of years ago. So that's now a 3-star. But the 2-star hotels, or hotel, is as basic as they come. It's themed to, the Disney movie Cars? Disney Pixar's Cars?
Oh, I love cars. Yeah.
So it's themed to that. The lamps are like cones from the Cozy Cone Motel, and it's quite nice, but the rooms are very small. They're very basic. They don't come with any extra amenities. You've just got like a tiny bathroom. they're okay. You know, if it's a place you're just going to go to put your head, there's no swimming pool at the 2-star hotel. There's no swimming pool at the Cheyenne either, even though it's earned the third star. So there's no swimming pool. There's no facilities like that. But yeah, it is as basic. It's like a motel. Okay.
Yeah.
So when you get to the Sequoia Lodge, which is also a 3-star hotel, that's when you start getting pools. So it goes Santa Fe, Cheyenne. This is the level of expense. Sequoia Lodge, Newport Bay, Hotel New York, Disneyland Hotel. And we are September, the end of September. We're going one up.
Ooh.
We're going one. In fact, I'd say we're going 2 up, because we're going to the next up hotel. We're going to the Hotel New York, the Art of Marvel. However, we're staying in their Empire State Club, and that is their club tier, which comes with breakfast. Breakfast is included in that, in a private lounge, so it's not even in the main restaurant. Then that private lounge is available all day, every day to us, with snacks, drinks, unlimited. We get robes and slippers. And
yeah, this sounds a bit nicer to me. This sounds like
And if we take the car, we get valet parking.
Yeah, there seems to be a few more proper perks. Almost, like you get the all-inclusive holidays, and then you can eat whenever you want. You can snack whenever you want. Well,
the drinks themselves, because this is absolutely true. A bottle of 500 milliliters of Coca-Cola within the Disneyland Paris parks is €4.50. €4.50. So we can go to the lounge and just stock up with cans all day, every day. Yeah. And you don't pay extra for that. Now, I haven't paid for that. Just cards on the table. I have not paid for that. I didn't even know it was booked. I came out of the bath while I was at Newport Bay, and I was told I'm going. That's what happened.
Yeah, it's an offer you can't refuse, Ben.
Well, yeah, and it's also, it's for the content. I'm getting a pipe, like a smoker's pipe.
Yeah.
And I'm going to sit there in the robe and slippers with a pipe.
Brilliant.
And I'm making a video, and it's going to be hilarious.
It will be very interesting to see, because that does sound like a significant upgrade. Actually, how much better the facilities and the overall experience will be, because that sounds more like a 4-star genuine to me.
Yeah, it does, and obviously we get a slightly better room as well than what you would normally get in that hotel. We haven't gone for a lake view, so we've gone for a park view. So when we look out of our window, we should, in theory, we should be able to sit and watch the fireworks shows and the drone shows from our room rather than from the park. So we'll see.
What was your overall experience for the 3 days at the park that you were there? And obviously you've been there many times before. What was it like in terms of rides, the queuing, access? I saw you said there were a lot of kind of things being redeveloped. Mm-hmm. Was the overall experience still a positive one?
Oh, yeah. Right. Okay. So Disneyland Park itself, as I said in my little live walk through the Disney Village, Disneyland Park itself, the main part, is stuck in a 90s time loop. It's got nothing really going on with it. They've not really expanded it. There hasn't been a proper new ride in 30 years. In 30 years.
Yeah, it's a long, long time.
However, it is beautiful. It is probably the single most beautiful Disney castle park on the planet. The details and everything. It's a magical place to be. Mm. The second park, Walt Disney Studios, is a construction site. They are redeveloping that park completely, and by the time they finish it, it will be renamed Disney's Adventure World. They're taking the name off the park. They're completely renaming it. They're currently building a large lake and Arendelle from Frozen. So they're building the world of Frozen and a large lake and a Rapunzel-themed spinning attraction. That's all heavily under construction. And I did do a little construction tour live and show people what's going on.
Yeah, I did see that there was a lot of construction going on, yeah.
Now they are trying. I say they are trying. Their goal was to have it open by now because Paris have the Olympics next month. Well, this month, right? The Olympics begin in Paris. They have missed that deadline by probably 2 years. There's a long way to go in this construction. It is nowhere near ready. But put that aside, and the rides and the attractions. If you're looking for thrills, I would say go to that park because the only real thrill ride over in Disneyland Park is Space Mountain, or Hyperspace Mountain as it's called at the moment. I guess you could argue that Big Thunder Mountain offers thrills, but it's more of a family level thrill as well. But if you want thrills, you go to Walt Disney Studios / Disney Adventure World, because my favorite ride, the Tower of Terror, that's there. That is always mine and Lisa's tradition. First and last ride, always a Tower of Terror. That's over there. Then you've got Avengers Flight Force, which used to be Rock and Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith. Well, that's a launch coaster that goes upside down a few times. You've got Crush's coaster, and even the couple of rides in the Toy Story Land really could be considered thrill rides, like the RC Racer, which is a half pipe roller coaster. But yeah, so if thrills are what you are looking for, go over there. If heavily themed, immersive, family, story-driven attractions are what you are looking for, go to Disneyland Park. That would be my advice. But overall, I think this was one of the most hard trips we've taken, because there was we barely spent any time to actually enjoy the park. We just filmed. We just made content and made live streams and it kind of turned into work, like the whole time.
I think that for me is why, in a way, when you're doing that, it's nicer in some ways if you have the opportunity to go away for longer, because whilst you're doing a lot of the filming and streaming, you're doing that rather than really enjoying the experience. So it would be a nice opportunity to, if you have the whole week, to do half and half.
I mean, it would be even nicer of an opportunity if I had the money to take everybody, take my family, take the wife, take the kids, take you, take John, take everybody, right? But unfortunately, we can't do that unless you like and subscribe to the channel. Anywho, but the point of the matter is that these experiences that we are showing off, even the Newport Bay Hotel experience that we've just done over the past couple of weeks, is not something that everybody's going to be able to do. I know this, I'm aware of this, and I'm aware of how lucky I am that I've been able to do it, and I'm able to do other experiences that are more expensive going forward. I'm aware of how lucky I am. And also, we would like to show people what it's like. So if they do have the ability to make these trips and book these rooms, they at least have a bit of an overview of everything. Like I said, the buffet restaurant inside the Hotel New York, the one later in the year, we filmed that week before last. That is coming out on the channel. So that's a Marvel buffet. I just haven't got around to editing it. And the other thing that will be coming out is a full-blown travel vlog. We filmed the trip right from Folkestone all the way to the Murder Hotel. And she's going, "What do you mean Murder Hotel? What? Did you see the Eclo? Did you see my live stream?" Well, right, there's a live stream on the channel. The thumbnail is just to my eyes like this, right? And it's called "Don't Stay Here." I would go and watch that live stream. However, for those that did watch that live stream, I also filmed a video, and that's going to come out in the next few days as well. Brilliant. It's called the Eclo Hotel or Hostel in Marne-la Valley.
Hostel.
And it was okay. I'll give you the rundown. It said it was soundproof. It wasn't soundproof. Far from it. It said that
I don't know. If I should ask what you heard in other rooms.
I thought people were being murdered. It also showed us pictures of these lovely looking rooms, and what we got was this tiny wooden box with 2 single beds in it and a sliding door at the back with like the world's smallest bathroom in it, right?
Oh my goodness.
And then, even worse, there was a window on the room looking into the hallway, that we didn't know how to close. We finally found a button that brought a shutter down on the outside of the window, not on the inside, on the outside, so people could still look round if they chose and look into your room. And then there was a sign on the back of the door that said, "You cannot lock your door because if you do, you may get locked in."
Oh, wasn't I'm just glad that I'm trying to say this in a family-friendly way. It doesn't sound like if you were there with your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your wife or your husband that you would have been able to enjoy some time with a window that people can look in and a door that you can't lock. Not the best.
Yeah. Yeah.
So watch out for that review.
Well, you
It's
can go and
coming
watch.
soon.
You can go watch the live stream. The live stream's
Yeah.
there. I mean, I streamed it. I was going, "Oh, I don't feel safe here." I know I didn't feel safe, and it was completely not as described. Though I know that Lisa did get a 50% refund because she moaned and moaned and moaned and moaned and moaned because we didn't get the breakfast either because we stayed
Oh.
up. Well, we stayed up until about 5 o'clock in the morning because we couldn't sleep through fucking, excuse me, but through sheer terror, we could not sleep. So by about 5 o'clock in the morning, we just crashed and passed out. Remember, I'd driven there from the UK, right? I'd driven there from the UK that day. We got there about 10 o'clock at night, French time. And we just couldn't sleep. We could not. It was terrifying. And by the time we woke up, breakfast had finished. It was 11, and we couldn't get out. We couldn't get out of there quick enough, though. We could not get out of there quick enough. It was absolutely terrifying. That's the Eclos Marne La Valley. Do not stay there. Don't stay
go.
there.
And breakfast is my favourite meal. I just want to say, so I'd be very, very disappointed, as is a lot of people over the last couple of weeks, Ben, that have not been able to go on Hyperia, which was a big, big announcement. The roller coaster at Thorpe Park. We ourselves were very, very much looking forward to going on the 27th. I had lots of messages from lots of people saying, "Did you go, Natalie? What was it like?" And I've had to explain to a lot of people that it's now got at least a 2-week delay. They haven't really explained why. We don't know when they're going to be reopening it again. So a lot of disappointed people out there, Ben, sadly.
Well, I do think that my theory now holds water. I think so my theory from the word go was something broke on the lift hill and they were waiting for a part from Mac Rides. Well, now a box from Mac Rides has turned up and they are putting things up on the lift hill. So I honestly think that that's what's happened here. They originally said they would try and get it open last Wednesday. I don't think the part arrived, and that's why they had to delay it further. But yeah, Hyperia at Thorpe Park, the UK's tallest and fastest roller coaster. It had its press night. It had its opening day, and then she did not soar again.
It's sad though for a lot of people. I mean, lucky for us, we don't live only a few hours away, and it was disappointing, but not the end of the world. There are people who would have booked flights from abroad. Really like hardcore roller coaster fans and stuff that have had their plans completely and utterly ruined. And yes, something's gone wrong, but surely, if they had an opening day, they should have been ensuring that roller coaster should have been working months and months in advance of that opening day.
No, I agree. And we went to Thorpe Park, and there's actually a vlog of me and you at Thorpe Park just a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
And I was saying there, they should not be opening it on that date.
There's no way. It was too soon. You could see that there was too much work to be done.
It wasn't ready, and I think, and this is what they did was they wanted the press night and the opening day to fall on the 40th anniversary of the park. That's what it was, and they pushed everything to get it to that day. And I understand the symbolic reason for doing that. I absolutely do. But I think in doing so, they maybe overworked it in testing. I don't know, because they only really started testing it like a week and a half, 2 weeks before they opened it.
Well, so you didn't go on the day that we went. So we went on Sunday the 19th. Me and my children and my friend. And that day that they were actually using, there was no people on Hyperia, but it's being used all day testing, so we could see it going round. But as we said, that was only a week before, and there were still no people on it. And we said, well, hold on a minute. At that point, at least the staff should have been going round on it. Like
Yeah,
a week to go, at with the largest roller coaster, and at that point they still had all the construction boards all around it as well. It looked way off being able to be used, and we all said that day that we didn't think that it was going to be up and running in time. I think they got all the timings wrong, and I don't think that's good publicity for Thorpe Park. I think you've got a lot of disappointed people, and they're going to have problems with it, I imagine, as well, running forward. If they've already had problems now, you know what it's like. It will start to run for a week, I expect, and then it'll be closed again for another week. Then it will run for another week. That's just my prediction.
But the thing is, that's par for the course to an extent with new rides, right?
Yeah.
They have their breaking in period. They have teething issues. At the end of the day, they are giant pieces of machinery, and when they go wrong, they go wrong. And sometimes there's nothing anybody can do about it, and sometimes it's nobody's fault. But I do believe that opening should not have been when they said it for. I think it should have been 2-4 weeks later anyway.
Yes, it should have been.
But that's just what I've been saying. But what I will say is this: when they announced it all, they started offering people the ability to rebook. They said you can rebook, and pick any date you want. If you've bought a ticket for a day ticket, or you've got an annual pass, just swap your date out to when it's going to be ready, or when we think it's going to be ready. But what they didn't do was for disabled guests. What they didn't do was they didn't acknowledge the fact that under their new ride access pass system, they only actually give a limited amount of disabled guests accessibility on any given day. And once that arbitrary number that we don't actually know what it is,
nobody knows
we don't know the number, but once that number has been reached within the system, it's quote unquote sold out. However, if you are a Merlin annual pass holder and there are still, and even if you're not, if there are dated tickets available, you can buy a ticket for that day, but you are disabled, you are in their system as disabled. You've got a space you can book in the park, or you've bought a ticket. All you're allowed to do or can do is look at the rides, because they won't grant you accessibility. It's kind of mad. It is kind of mad, because I believe if that there is space available to book into the park, they have a legal requirement to offer you that accessibility under the Equalities Act. Now, I could be wrong, but I believe if they are selling that space, they should have to accommodate.
I do also wonder, though, now with the Hyperia, once it does go up and running, they're going to have problems with that. Like you've already said, that people will suddenly go online the moment it's available, and those ride access passes are going to get booked up for about a month or a month ahead in advance, and you're just not going to be able to get them again.
Well, anybody who had, and this is thanks to a back and forth between me and the head office at Merlin Entertainment, I punted them an email. I said, what about those of us who are disabled? Because I'm actually in a dialogue with the head of accessibility at Merlin Entertainment. I said, what about those of us who booked our ride access passes weeks in advance to ensure that we could ride Hyperia? We had to book them weeks in advance because otherwise they would have been sold out. What about us? Because we can't just rebook, because if we just rebook, we'll have to stare at it. Okay, we won't be able to. That's what I said. And I made a suggestion. I said that those who have already got pre-booked ride access passes for the day that it's down should have the ability to rebook for any day of their choice. And 5-6 days after I made this suggestion, Thorpe Park started emailing people with exactly what I suggested to the letter. They have released a special annual pass portal, or special ride access pass portal, for those who have booking numbers for any of the days that Hyperia is closed. They can enter that portal for a one-time use, and they can pick any date of their choice to rebook, getting around the main system, which is what needed to happen. But it wouldn't have happened if I hadn't got into a dialogue with them.
I mean, and whilst that is still very good, what I also still think will happen is that as soon as it's announced it's back up and running, as is the problem with Alton Towers, you will go on, and you won't be able to get any ride accesses passes for about a month and a half, 2 months
Yeah,
anyway, and
and
that's going to happen.
that will apply to people who don't have
Yeah.
a cancelled date. They won't be able
Yeah,
to
they
get
won't.
one.
That's what I'm saying. So so they'll just go on, and you'll have to wait. If you are a disabled person, you won't just be able to ride with Hyperia. It could you might be up to 2 months waiting for available date on the wrap system. So we will keep you updated with that. But it is a shame because I was looking forward to it, and
when it
I will
is back
continue
up,
to do so.
So I haven't rebooked a date yet because I do have one of the ability to use that portal. I have one of those dates. But when it does, I'm tentative to book because I don't want to be disappointed.
Yes.
But when it does go back up, we will be there. We will be
Yes.
riding it, and we will be reviewing it. Of course, we will.
We will.
It's the UK's tallest, fastest roller coaster. You can't miss that up. And before we leave out tonight, it's June, and that means that Universal Studios Great Britain will be making a decision this month as to whether or not they build their resort. With over 90% public support in the public consultation, I'm leaning towards it's happening.
Well,
I think it's happening.
So where will this be?
I forget the name of it. It's a little village in I know all of this as well. I've done videos about it. But where will it be? Bloody hell! I'm gonna look this up quickly. Don't you worry about that. I'm gonna look this up.
And I take it would take a long time to construct, and even if they do
5
agree
years.
to it, we're looking at a lot.
Right. So, a universal destination experience, leader, blah 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 blah. So they've done their feasibility study. It's all done. The project scale. Right. What is the project? Why are you looking at Bedford? It's in Bedford, right? The site is in Bedford in an ideal location with convenient, fast rail links to London and London Luton Airport. In addition, the site and Bedford are well connected for travel from all parts of the UK and Europe. The East-West Railway project also plans to deliver additional transport. Basically, they own the land. So before they even announced that they were going to consider this, they bought a massive plot of land and they spent tens of millions of pounds on it. Now,
so that sounds pretty positive then.
Yeah, so they bought this land and then they announced that they might be considering building a Universal Studios Great Britain after it was discovered by scoopers online who are in this sphere, what we're doing here, that they purchased this land. They came out and they confirmed it straight away. They didn't even, say, well, maybe. They came out, yep, we are looking to build a resort in Bedford. We've bought this land. Fantastic. They did a couple of public consultations over the last couple of months. Over 90% public support for the project. I think it's going ahead. Universal.
I hope so.
Well, I hope so, but it's looking like they will build a theme park, a city walk, and at least 2 hotels. And obviously parking and all of that. They'll completely develop this site. But the final decision is set to come down this month from Universal. Yep. So hopefully it's a positive one, and we could see one of probably, if not one of the world's best theme parks right here in the United Kingdom.
That would be brilliant.
It would be brilliant.
And I think moving forward too, I've obviously managed to go to Thorpe Park and to Chessington this year. I do think Chessington's very much aimed at a slightly lower kind of age audience than Thorpe Park is. Thorpe Park's much more thrill seeking. We are hoping soon to do a whole weekend away at Alton Towers, which will be really good to review, which arguably is said to be the best theme park.
But it won't be if Universal build. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
I would love to. I'd love to take my whole family to Alton Towers. I really would. It's just right now, once again, as I said, we are in a cost of living crisis, and they go, "Oh, Ben, but you just went on an 1,100 quid Disney trip." I didn't pay for that. Hands in the air. I did not pay for that. I get, like I said once again, how lucky I am to be able to do some of the things I have done for this channel. And it's nice also to get a little bit of recognition from these big corporations as well, to see what we are trying to do, because, you know, whilst we do have fun and we make these vlogs and we make these, you know, tours and hotel tours and room tours, and we do film reviews as well, the main core and focus of this, yes, there is an agenda, people, is to help disabled people. That's what we've been doing all of this time. I mean, we've got two of the most, if not the most, comprehensive disability access guides for the Disneyland Paris resort right here on the channel. You can go and look at them right now. They took a long time to make, and they're well worth watching. And that's what we want to do. I mean, we looked at accessibility at Thorpe Park. We use accessibility at Thorpe Park. I want to cover all of the Merlin attractions, and in fact, it's nice that Kate at Merlin has said that once we get up to Alton Towers, she wants to take us and show us personally. She wants to buy us coffee. She wants to, you know, it's nice to be able to get a bit of recognition for what we're trying to do. And if we can do it and we can build it, it would be really good. But the only way that we're able to grow this and do more, you know, is if people subscribe to the channel, click the like button, interact, engage, click the dislike button if you don't like it. Just interact and engage, because it helps us, and then it helps us be able to help others. Because, you know, it is a tough world out there, and especially disabled people sometimes feel quite lonely, quite forgotten, and like they're not able to do stuff and go out and do stuff. And we like to show people how they can. And I hope that's a little bit of a noble cause. I don't know. I'm just waffling on, to be honest. But I like traveling around on my mobility scooter and having a laugh, and I would love for others to be able to do the same. And with that, Natalie, it's been nice chatting tonight.
It has. We got there in the end.
We did, and we shall do this again next week once you've had about 4 days of sleep.
Yeah, and everything in my life starts going well again. And then we'll all be good. And I'll come back a refreshed Natalie.
Please do. Yes. And on that note, boys and girls, if you've enjoyed this show, please like the channel, subscribe to it if you haven't already, become a patron at patreon.com/Real Reviews UK, or join the channel right here from 99p a month. It's going to help us. It's going to help us help others. So let's pay it forwards and all of that.
Yeah.
Anything to say, Natalie?
Just, go out there, have a good week, and make sure you go and watch all Benn's reviews, because they're worth a watch.
And there's plenty more to come. Thank you for watching this one. We'll speak to you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.